Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The PDP-Laban's Cusi-led faction has welcomed President Duterte's decision to formally accept his nomination as the party's vice presidential bet in the 2022 elections. Mean Los Baños joins us live from Pasig for more details. Mean, how is PDP-Laban gearing up for President Duterte's vice presidential bid?
Hi, Sean. Good afternoon. Yes, the PDP-Laban faction led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi is actually preparing for campaign mode. This after President Duterte has already signed his Certificate of Nomination and Acceptance, or CONA, for his vice presidential bid. PDP-Laban Secretary General Melvin Matibag said that President Duterte signed the CONA list last night in Davao during a meeting with PDP-Laban officials. Cusi and Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdea were present during the President's CONA signing. Matibag said that everyone in the ruling party is excited as the President listened to the clamor of his party mates to run as VP next year. The faction is still waiting for Senator Bongo to accept the nomination for President. They hope President Duterte's nomination acceptance will convince Senator Go to do the same. There is no plan B, Matibag said. Matibag insists they are rooting for the senator and that the Go-Duterte tandem remains the logical and popular choice. Meanwhile, Sean, Matibag refused to discuss the merits of their petition to declare the Pacquiao camp and his allies as illegitimate officers of PDP-Laban. The Comelec Anbank has already ordered the camp of Pacquiao to answer the petition within 5 days. Sean, the Cusi-led faction is also working out on their alliances with local and national parties. In fact, just this afternoon, they signed an alliance with PDDS, or Federalismo ng Dugong Dakilang Samahan, led by Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chairman Greco Belgica. Sean?
Thank you so much for that update, Man Los Baños of News 5, joining us live from Pasig City. Thanks, man. Quezon City will be prioritizing vaccinating individuals residing and working in enclosed long-term care facilities. These include 13 orphanages, home care facilities, apostolate centers, and rehabilitation centers in the city. Over half of the 1,000 employees and persons residing in such facilities still have not received their first vaccine doses. This move comes after the death of 9 elderly nuns after a COVID-19 outbreak over at the Religious of the Virgin Mary community in Cubao. And airlines are calling on the government to further ease restrictions. They say that air travel can be safe with the proper precautions in place. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez gives us a front seat to the story.
After 18 months of passenger limits, Philippine Airlines and Cebu Pacific are beginning to push back. Both major airlines say it's time to either raise the passenger cap or get rid of it altogether. Currently, all airlines share a cap of 2,000 passengers a day. Pre-pandemic, they were flying as many as 40,000 a day.
We're not even appealing for tourism's sake. We are appealing for an opening up, raising the cap at the very least on the international arriving passengers just to be able to bring home our OFWs.
They are also pushing for more uniform and simplified travel requirements. Current rules are often dependent on LGUs and can change all of a sudden.
If a local government change the requirements, it takes time, for the information to actually get to our passengers, especially if people have already taken an RT-PCR test, which is also very expensive.
A recent study by PAL found that air travel can be safe given some precautions. PAL's data showed PCR testing within 3 days before departure greatly reduced the risk of the virus spreading. As such, both carriers are now calling for more relaxed rules for vaccinated passengers, as well as shorter quarantines.
When you compare, for example, Davao and Subic, where we were rerouting flights there, positivity rate of the mga passengers that came into Davao was 2.5 times lower than in Subic. So we want to apply that.
In the new proposal, someone who's vaccinated and tested negative can be home in as little as 4 days upon arrival. PAL is planning to pilot this on its North America route before rolling it out to other international destinations. The aviation Industry, as you know, is one of the hardest hit sectors in the pandemic. In the first half of the year, Cebu Pacific lost more than 13 billion pesos, while PAL nearly lost 17 billion. The flag carrier recently filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the US, though it says it will exit that soon.
Before the end of the year, we will already be out of the process and be back to sort of regular financial operations.
Around the world, countries are beginning to reopen their borders too, as more people get vaccinated against COVID. Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here. Still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The OCTA Research Group is seeing a Merry Christmas for us Filipinos once the Delta variant reaches its endgame. Research fellow David told One News that the impact of the Delta variant on the COVID-19 trend could ease by November or by October or November. David said the COVID-19 situation in Metro Manila is improving, with the transmission rate easing to within ideal level. Other areas outside the capital, like Davao City and the provinces of Calabarzon, have likewise seen improving infection trends.
So this gives us hope that once we're over this surge with the Delta variant, especially in Metro Manila and Calabarzon, that it will continue on towards Christmas and we'll have a Merry Christmas.
And Meralco will resume disconnection activities in Metro Manila with the region's shift to the new alert level system. The power distributor will start handing out disconnection notices next week for those not able to pay their bills on time. Meralco clarified, though, that consumers can still go to business centers to ask for an extension. Meanwhile, disconnection services will remain suspended in MECQ areas such as in Bulacan, Cavite, Laguna, Rizal, Lucena City until the end of the month. The Health Department has reported 17,400 new COVID-19 cases on Thursday. This is the fifth day of new cases coming in below 20,000. About 165,700 of the 2.43 million total caseload are still active. The DOH said 77 duplicates were removed from the total case count, 55 of which have been reclassified as recoveries. 177 people died of the virus in the last 24 hours, bringing the death toll to 37,400. 88 cases previously tagged as survivors have been reclassified as deaths after further validation. Total recoveries are now at 2.23 million after almost 14,100 new survivors overnight. 24.6% of the 71,000 tests included in today's bulletin yielded positive results. Let's take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Justice Department confirms that the NBI has conducted a second autopsy on artist Bree Johnson on the request of her family. An initial medico-legal report from the Ilocos Training and Regional Medical Center showed signs of struggle and some bruising on Johnson's body. This runs counter to the PNP's initial autopsy findings, stating no signs of struggle from the victim. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. has proposed to start vaccinating minors aged 12 to 17 by mid-October. Galvez notes excess vaccine supply, with some 20 million doses expected to arrive by the first week of October. That's on top of the 23.7 million shots we have in stock. And in the PBA, the Meralco Bolts further dim Barangay Ginebra's chances of getting in the playoffs after beating the Gin Kings 79-68. With this loss, Ginebra will either be in the playoff for the 8th seed or eliminated entirely. This will depend on the remaining elimination game between Northport and Alaska. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.